Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today, we're checking out the highly anticipated first-person shooter, Metro Awakening. I'll be delivering all the information you need to know, like does it live up to the hype? Is this a worthy entry into the Metro franchise? And how good is the combat, storyline, graphics, audio, and overall immersion? I also promise to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. I don't want to ruin that storyline for anyone. But first I have to say that the developers reached out to me, gave me early access to the Quest 3 version, and asked that I cover this game, so this is a sponsored video. But with that being said, let's jump into the basic information. Metro Awakening releases on November 7th for all major platforms, including the PlayStation VR 2, the Meta Quest 2 and 3, and Steam VR. The Steam version currently offers a deluxe edition, which has some bonus in-game items, and 2 days of early access if you just can't wait for this title. There's 12 chapters offering up roughly 10 hours of gameplay, featuring an excellent mix of storytelling, combat, and exploration. This is a mature rated game, or PEGI 16, depending on where in the world you're from, and I will say this game definitely deserves that rating, a topic we'll get into later. For now though, let's move into the overall storyline and a little bit of background information. Metro Awakening takes place in a darkly themed apocalyptic future where the surface world has been irradiated and humanity lives underground, battling against famine, mutant creatures, and other violent factions of humanity. This is a bleak, bone-chilling world that comes to life thanks to the writing of Dmitry Glukhovsky. He's the award-winning author who created the Metro series that was eventually turned into a series of flat-screen games. His world is alive again in a highly immersive new experience that features an all-new gripping storyline. Now you'll take on a role of a doctor, something that world can obviously utilize. However, no one can exist in this type of environment without seeing some crazy stuff, something the game throws you into immediately with a fantastic intro. And this is where the title immediately started to surpass my expectations. I already played a 45-minute demo at Gamescom, which was this weird vertical slice of really cool moments. I thought they basically showed us the best of what the game had to offer, and the rest of the experience would be repetitive and basically filler, but man was I wrong on that. There's plenty of twists and turns, emotionally gripping storytelling, some truly creepy moments, really cool cutscenes, and you always tend to be doing something different. You might be manning a turret and having to defend the base, or you'll be riding a track where crazy things are going on, or then you have to sneak past a group of just aggressive humans. And of course, there's plenty of really creepy creatures. There are just so many little elements that make this game fantastic. The sound design is excellent and knows how to put a chill down your spine. The AI is highly responsive, as human enemies will hear you if you move quickly or drop anything, and you'll stick out like a sore thumb if you forgot to turn off your headlamp. The small lurker creatures will pop in and out from different locations, and when they're in packs, they'll try to flank you. And the title constantly reminds you that your situation is quite desperate, as ammo is scarce, and you need to constantly manage your light battery and radiation filters. And during all of that, the game has some top-tier immersion, making this a potential Game of the Year title. Now I'll get back to that topic a little bit later, because there is one thing holding it back. Unlike other titles from Vertigo games, where it's either just tons of action, like After the Fall, or a game that doesn't take itself too serious, like Arizona Sunshine, this is the first time they went like ultra dark and gritty with a very serious tone and storyline, and they nailed it. This is probably the best game that they've ever made, hands down, but what holds it back is the graphics on the Quest. Now, I've played through this experience on the Quest 3, and I have demoed it on both PC VR and the PlayStation VR 2, and there is a substantial difference like normal, but this time it feels even more significant because this is a title that takes itself seriously, doesn't have cartoony graphics, and truly delivers a highly detailed and extremely immersive world. Now, by no means does the game look bad on the Quest 3, but there's some highly aggressive fixed foveated rendering, and the lower resolution leads to jaggies and last generation characters that kind of break the immersion. Now, I will say this fades as you get into the game. It's really more during certain scenes where you're talking to characters at the home base and stuff like that. I couldn't help myself from just looking at the fixed foveated rendering at the bottom, just glaring at how much like lack of detail was down there, or how the characters like don't look human. You know, they don't look very realistic. There's pixels in their hair or around them, whatever the case may be. So it was a little immersion breaking. But when you're in the actual game, when you're fighting creatures or hiding from humans, yeah, you're in it, you're highly immersed, and the cutscenes still look great. It's just a world like this you want in all its glory. So if you have the option to play on PC VR or PlayStation VR 2, I would recommend it in this case. but if you're only on Quest, it's still a fantastic experience. Now, the game did run really well, and I believe there might still be some room for Quest 3 improvements, but honestly, this was one of the only complaints I had with the title. The storyline, without getting into it, not only feels real, like an experience that would happen in that environment, but there's also an emotional element and just a bizarre look at just how crazy people could get if they had to live through that experience. And this right here brings me to the Game of the Year discussion, which I feel Metro Awakening is definitely a contender. However, that mature rating and just how creepy this game gets will definitely hinder its mainstream appeal. The title does have a disclaimer in the very beginning before you start playing, stating that you will see some disturbing elements, and if you have arachnophobia, you should probably, hightail it out of here. Something I said to them when I played the demo, I said, guys, you need to put an arachnophobia warning on this, because I know some people can't play games when they're spiders, and man oh man, does this one hit hard. And the fear factor is another limiting element. This title does have quite a few jump scares, but I will say none of them feel cheap, and overall this feels like masterclass in VR pacing and storytelling. So in closing, this is a game that I already thought was going to be good based on the demos I've tried. It looks fantastic, plays really well. I love the overall immersion and the environment, all these makeshift weapons and different tools that you have. It just works. But it went from a game that I thought would be good and people would like to way beyond my expectations. This is a very solid title, and VR seems to be getting much better. Just like Batman Arkham Shadow was a great entry into the Arkham series, this is another great entry into the Metro series. The title delivers. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys will too. Now, if there's anything I didn't cover, let me know down in the description. Ask your questions. I'll do my best to get back to you. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing.